The stars looked quiet, but something was coming. Far out in space, the Earth ship ESV Horizon floated near a strange signal. Crew had picked it up 2 weeks ago. It was not like any other message they had ever seen or heard. It was not human. It was beautiful and full of light patterns that danced like music. Lieutenant Adam Carter, the communication officer, stayed up late every night trying to understand it. He sat alone in the signal room, watching the lights blink across the screen. His eyes were tired, but he could not stop. He felt like the message was trying to say something important. One night, he finally saw the message clearly. It was a greeting, but not just any greeting. It was from a race called the Alari. They lived on a planet called GalacticPrime, deep in a star system no human had ever reached. The Alari were peaceful and wanted to meet humans. The next few days were busy. Earth's leaders were excited, but also careful. They formed a small ambassador team, and Adam was chosen to join. He didn't understand why. He was not a top officer, just a quiet man who liked signals and stars. But they said he had something the Alari might understand better, a calm heart. The journey to GalacticPrime took 1 month in deep space. When they arrived, the crew looked out at a world full of silver forests, tall mountains, and glowing lakes. The sky had 2 suns and clouds that changed color.
Ow.
The Alari greeted them with music and silence. They did not speak with words. They used light, sound, and feeling. Adam was amazed by them. Their skin was like smooth stone with soft lights under it, and their eyes were deep like oceans. Then he saw her. Princess Lyra. She stood tall among the Alari, with silver hair that moved like water. Her eyes were bright blue and held a kind of wisdom. When she looked at Adam, he felt like time stopped. Adam tried not to stare. It was just a visitor, a guest. But as the talks went on, he found himself near her more often. She was learning human ways, and he was learning Alari customs. They walked through gardens and shared stories. Sometimes they sat in silence and just watched the stars. One evening, Adam and Lyra stood near a clear lake. The water showed their reflections. She asked him about Earth, about music, trees, and rain. He asked her about her world, about the songstones, and the way Alari connect through emotion. As they talked, Adam felt something strange in his chest. It was more than respect. It was more than wonder. Looked at her and felt something he never thought possible. He turned away, afraid of his own thoughts. He whispered under his breath, "I wish I could wet her." He thought she didn't hear. But in Alari culture, feelings can be sensed. Strong thoughts echo in the air like soft waves. Lyra looked at him quietly for a moment. She didn't say anything, and she smiled a little and looked back at the lake. Adam's heart beat faster. He didn't know what that smile meant. Was it kindness? Was it surprise? Or maybe it was nothing at all. He walked back to his room, unsure of everything. He sat on his bed and looked out at the twin suns setting. He had just made the biggest mistake of his life. Or maybe, just maybe, he had started something new. The stars still looked quiet. But now, something had changed. Adam woke up early the next day. The twin suns were just rising over the mountains of GalacticPrime. Light poured into his room and filled it with soft gold. He sat up, thinking about the night before. The words he had whispered still echoed in his mind. Wished he could take them back, but part of him did not want to. Got ready and walked out into the gardens. The air smelled sweet, and strange birds flew through the sky. The Alari lived in peace with nature. Their buildings were made of shining stone and looked like they had grown out of the ground. Today, Adam was told he would be working closely with the royal court. The humans were trying to understand Alari systems and help with the alliance. Adam's job was to share ideas and learn how the Alari communicated in detail. To his surprise, Princess Lyra was also there. She stood with 2 Alari nobles. But when she saw Adam, she walked over to him. "You were early," she said. Adam smiled. "I couldn't sleep," she nodded. "I understand." They walked side by side through the stone paths of the garden. The trees whispered in the wind, and light played on the ground. "There is something I want to show you," Lyra said. She led him to a large hall filled with glowing stones. Each stone made a sound when touched. She placed her hand on one, and it sang a soft note. "These are songstones," she said. "We use them to share memories and feelings." Adam listened as she played a short melody. It was sad, but also beautiful. When it ended, he felt like he had just seen a piece of her heart. "Do you want to try?" she asked. He nodded and touched one of the stones. It made a sharp sound, and he pulled his hand back. Lyra laughed gently. "You must be calm. The stones feel your emotion." He took a deep breath and tried again. This time, a soft note came out, then another. Soon he was making a simple tune. They spent the rest of the morning playing with the songstones. Lyra told him stories of her people, and he shared stories from Earth. She asked about snow and how it felt. He asked about the moons of Alara and the glowing lakes. As the days passed, they saw each other often. They learned together, laughed together, and sometimes just sat in silence. The others noticed. Human team began to whisper. Some thought Adam was getting too close. Some of the Alari nobles also looked at him with cold eyes. One day an Alari noble named Varric spoke to Adam in private. "You should be careful," Varric said. "Princess Lyra is not for you. She has duties. She will be queen one day." Adam nodded. "I understand." But deep inside, he didn't want to let go. He was not trying to win her. He just wanted to know her. That evening, Lyra found him sitting by the lake again. "Are you well?" she asked. He looked at her. "Some people think I should not be near you." She sat beside him. "Many people fear what they do not understand." He smiled a little. "Maybe they're right. Maybe I should stay away." She looked at him for a long time. "Do you want to stay away?" He shook his head slowly. "No." The sky turned dark, and the stars came out. They sat together without speaking, just watching the sky. In that silence, something grew between them. Not just friendship, but something deeper, something neither of them could name yet. The world around them was still, but inside, everything was changing. Adam did not know what would happen next. He only knew that each moment with Lyra felt like it mattered. And Lyra, though quiet, felt it too. The days on Alara Prime were peaceful, but something dark was growing. Not everyone wanted peace between humans and Alari. Some feared change, others feared love. Adam was working in the palace garden when it happened. A loud sound shook the air. Light flashed across the sky. People screamed. Human delegate had been attacked during a meeting. Guards rushed in. Confusion filled the halls. Adam looked for Lyra. He ran through the stone corridors, calling her name. He found her near the garden wall. A strange device had landed close to her. It was glowing and ticking. Without thinking, Adam grabbed the device and threw it away. It exploded mid-air, sending him to the ground. His arm was burned. Lyra knelt beside him and placed her hand over the wound. Her eyes were full of fear. "You saved me," she said softly. "You're safe," he said with a weak smile. That night he was taken to a quiet room in the palace. Lyra came to see him after the healers had treated his wounds. She stayed beside him, not saying much, just watched over him. Over the next few days, Lyra visited often. They did not speak about the explosion, they spoke about their pasts. She told him about her childhood, about her dreams and her fears. Adam told her about his family, the stars he loved, and why he had joined the space mission. Each visit made their bond stronger. She brought songstones to the room, and they made music together. It became their way of speaking when words were too hard to say. But not everyone was pleased. Varric and other nobles were angry. They said Adam had stepped beyond his place. They said the alliance was in danger because of his closeness to the princess. Even some humans started to worry. The ambassador warned Adam to be careful. He told him that love between species could not work. It would only bring pain. Adam stayed quiet. He did not answer them. He only thought of Lyra. One evening, while the twin moons rose outside his window, Lyra stood near the songstones. She played a tune that was soft and slow. Then she turned to him and said, "You once whispered something." Adam's heart stopped. He knew what she meant. He looked down. "I did not mean to make things hard," he said. "I was just thinking. I did not plan to say it." She walked closer. "But you did say it." He nodded. "Yes," I said. "I wish I could wed you. I know it is not possible." Lyra looked at him with calm eyes. "In our world, deep thoughts can be heard. I felt your words. They stayed with me." Adam stood still. "I understand if you are angry, or if you feel nothing. I feel many things," she said. "But I do not yet know what they mean." Before she left, she placed a small stone in his hand. It glowed with a soft light. "This holds part of my song," she said. "Keep it." When she was gone, Adam sat in the quiet room and listened to the stone. It sang a note he had heard before. It was the same one she played that first day. Outside, the city lights glowed. The sky was clear. But deep in the shadows, trouble was rising. The ones behind the attack were still out there. Now, they had seen something they did not like. Human and an Alari who might care for each other. That kind of bond could change everything. But Adam did not care about fear. He only cared about Lyra. And he knew now that his whisper had not gone unheard. It had become something more. The days ahead would not be easy. The world was watching. But he would not step back. Not now. The next day brought dark news. Another attack was stopped, this time in the palace itself. The guards found a device hidden near the main hall. It was clear now that someone was trying to break the peace between Earth and Alara. Fear began to spread through both sides. Adam and Lyra met in secret. They knew the peace talks would fail if the truth was not found. Adam had an idea. The strange energy from the device he had thrown away still bothered him. It did not feel like Alari or human tech. It felt like something mixed, something hidden. He and Lyra decided to search the lower halls of the palace. There were old chambers and tunnels there, places not often used. That night, they slipped away from the guards. Lyra used her royal code to unlock a hidden gate. Behind it were long halls made of dark stone. They walked slowly, holding small light stones. The air was cold and quiet. As they moved deeper, they saw marks on the walls. Some were old Alari signs, but others were strange, written in code Adam could read. "This is Earth's military code," he whispered. Lyra looked at him. "But why would it be here?" Adam shook his head. Someone from Earth might be helping the attackers. They followed the marks to a room filled with old tech. In the middle was a device like the one from the garden. It was not armed, but it still glowed. Adam bent down to look closer. He found a small tag with Earth writing, took a picture of it, and stood up. "This is the proof we need." Before they could leave, they heard a sound behind them. Footsteps. Someone else was there. Adam and Lyra hid behind a pillar. A figure walked in, covered in a dark cloak. The person looked around, then began to work on the device. Adam recorded the face when the hood slipped for a second. It was a human, one of the security officers from Earth. A man named Grant. He had been quiet since the first attack, but no one thought he was involved. When the man left, Adam and Lyra returned to the surface. They showed the proof to the human ambassador and the Alari council. The room was silent as the images played. Shock and anger filled the space. "Why would a human do this?" someone asked. "He worked alone," the ambassador said quickly. "We will take care of him." But Lyra stood. "This is not just one man's doing. Fear and hate are not born alone. They are taught. We must face the truth." Some of the council members nodded. Others still looked unsure. Varric said nothing, but his eyes were sharp. After the meeting, Adam walked with Lyra in the garden. "You were strong in there," he said. "I had to be," she replied. "If we do not face this together, we will fall apart." They stopped by the lake. The same lake where Adam had whispered his heart the first time. The water was still. The stars above were bright. Adam looked at her. "Back in the tunnels, I thought we might not get out." She nodded. "I thought the same." He took a breath. "I said those words once. I said them again in my heart. I wish I could wed you. Still do." She turned to him. Her voice was quiet but clear. "I heard your heart, but I do not know if I can follow mine. Not yet." Adam nodded. "I will not ask you again. Just wanted you to know." She smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. Some things are not easy, even when they are true. The night wind blew gently. The trees whispered around them. They stood together in silence, not needing words. Far away, in the dark halls of power, others were watching. Plans were being made. The bond between a human and a princess had become more than a whisper. It had become a fire. Fires once started are hard to stop. The next few days passed with silence between Adam and Lyra. Not because they were angry, but because they did not know what to say. The truth was out now. The man who tried to ruin the peace was caught, but the damage had already begun. Trust between the two worlds was shaking. Lyra spent long hours in council meetings. Many of the Alari nobles wanted to cancel the talks. They said Earth could not be trusted. I also whispered about her time with Adam. They said she had lost her mind. Adam stayed in the guest quarters. He felt useless. He looked out at the silver trees and wondered if everything was falling apart. He still remembered Lyra's voice near the lake. She had not said no, but she had not said yes either. One evening, an old Alari woman came to see him. She was dressed in deep blue and walked with a cane. Her name was Sela, and she was a keeper of Alari history. She sat beside Adam and said, "You remind me of someone. Long ago, before I was born, there was a traveler from Earth. He came here by accident. He was lost, but he found love." Adam looked at her. "What happened to him?" "He married an Alari girl," she said. "The people did not agree, but their love was strong. They lived far away in the mountain valleys. Their story was almost forgotten." Adam listened closely. "Is it true?" Sila nodded. "Yes, the Alari girl was a sister to the queen. She gave up her title. Love is not new, but it always costs something." That night, Adam thought of Lyra. He did not want her to give up her place. He did not want her to suffer. The next day, the queen called Lyra to the royal chamber. The room was quiet. Only the queen and 2 advisors were there. The queen looked tired but calm. "You care for the human, do you not?" the queen asked. Lyra did not answer right away. Then she said, "Yes, I care for him. And if you follow your heart, the council will fight you. They will call you weak. They will say you betrayed your duty." Lyra lifted her head. "But if I do not follow it, I betray myself." The queen stood and walked to the window. "You must face the council. Speak your truth. Let them see who you are." Lyra bowed. "I will." At the same time, Adam was called to the security room. Ambassador told him he was to be sent back to Earth. He was no longer safe on Alara Prime. Adam's heart dropped. "I cannot leave now." "It's not a choice," the ambassador said. "The Alari Council sees you as a problem, and some humans agree." Adam was placed under watch. He could not leave his room. He waited, hoping Lyra would come, but she did not. The day of the council meeting came. The hall was full. Alari nobles stood in silence. The queen sat on the high seat. Lyra stepped forward. "You know me," she said. "You watched me grow. You taught me duty, wisdom, and strength, but you also taught me to listen to truth." She walked to the center. The attacks were not just acts of war. They were acts of fear. Fear of change. Fear of something new. "But I am not afraid," the nobles murmured. Varric stepped forward. "You would join with a human? Throw away your birthright?" Lyra looked at him. "I would not throw it away. I would use it to build something greater. Something both our worlds need." The queen raised her hand. Silence returned. "The council will speak," she said. "Until then, you are free." Lyra left the hall. Her steps were steady. She went straight to Adam. He stood when she entered. "I thought I had lost you." She walked to him and took his hand. "You never lost me, but I had to choose. And I chose to be honest." He looked into her eyes. "What happens now?" She smiled. "Now we wait. And when the time is right, I will give you my answer." Outside, the suns were setting. Light filled the sky with gold and red. The future was still unsure. But the bond between them was no longer hidden. It had become a promise. The council met for 2 long days. Behind closed doors, they argued and debated. Some wanted to follow the old ways. Others saw the truth in Lyra's words. Outside, people waited for news. Both humans and Alari felt the pressure. The future of the peace talks now rested on what the council would decide. Adam stayed in his room, guarded and quiet. He did not eat much, did not sleep. His thoughts were full of questions. What if they forced her to forget him? What if they punished her for speaking her heart? On the 3rd morning, a guard came to his door. "You are to appear before the council," the guard said. Adam followed the guard through the palace halls. The air felt heavy. He had never been inside the Grand Council chamber. It was wide and full of light from above. The queen sat in the center, and the nobles formed a circle around her. Lyra stood near the queen, her eyes calm. The queen raised her hand. "Lieutenant Adam Carter, you are here because of your actions, your loyalty, and your bond with our princess. Do you have anything to say?" Adam looked around. He felt the weight of every eye on him. "I came here to help with peace," he said. "I did not expect any of this, but I met someone who changed my life. I did not plan it. I did not seek it, but I cannot lie about it. I care for Princess Lyra. I will always respect her choice, no matter what it is." The room stayed silent for a moment. Then Varric stepped forward. "He is a soldier from another world. He is not of our people. His feelings are dangerous," Lyra answered him. "And yet he stood in front of danger for me. He searched for the truth when others stayed quiet. Does that not matter? A noble woman rose. It's human. Their ways are different. Can this bond even last?" Adam spoke again. "It may not be easy, but we can learn. We can grow. We do not need to fear each other." The queen stood. "The council has heard all sides. The vote is complete." She looked at Lyra. "You may choose your path." Lyra stepped forward. Her voice was clear. "Then I choose to follow truth. I choose to walk with the one who saw me not as a ruler, but as a person. I choose peace. I choose hope." The room was quiet. Then the queen spoke again. "So it is done." Adam was free. The guard stepped back. The human ambassador gave a short nod. Some nobles left the chamber in silence. Others stayed, watching. Later that day, Lyra found Adam near the lake. "They accepted your words," he said. "They accepted you." She smiled. "But I did not come here for the council. I came for you." He stood up. "For me," she took his hand. "Oh, you once said something. Something small. Something brave. I heard it then. I hear it now." He looked into her eyes. "Do you have an answer?" She nodded. "Yes. My answer is yes." The wind moved across the water. The moons rose above the hills. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the past, not the fear, only the promise between them. Word spread fast. The people of Alara spoke of the human and the princess. Some were shocked, some were proud, many were hopeful. Peace had survived, and something new had begun. The queen called for a celebration. Both humans and Alari gathered in the great hall. As music played, voices sang, and lights danced in the air. Adam stood beside Lyra, not as a visitor, but as someone now part of their world. He looked at her and whispered, "Thank you." She squeezed his hand. "This is just the beginning." And it was. The stars above seemed brighter that night. The two worlds had changed, and two hearts, once from distant skies, now beat as one. The day after the celebration, the skies over Alara Prime were clear. People still talked about the event. No one had ever seen a moment like that in their lifetime. A human and an Alari had made a choice together, and the world had changed. Adam stood at the edge of the royal garden. It's the same place where he had once whispered his wish. Now that wish was no longer just a thought. It had become real. Lyra joined him there. She wore a simple robe, her silver hair falling down her back. Her eyes were calm. She looked at him and smiled. "Everything feels different," Adam said. "Because it is," she answered. They walked slowly through the garden. Trees moved gently in the breeze, and the lake reflected the twin moons. It was peaceful, but both of them knew new challenges would come. Later that week, Earth and Alara signed the final peace agreement. Both sides agreed to share knowledge, science, and culture. Trade routes would be opened. A new space station would be built between the two worlds. It would be called Unity. The Queen announced that Adam would become the first human ambassador to Alara Prime. It was a great... Adam accepted, though he still felt like a simple man who had followed his heart. Lyra would soon become queen. Her time to lead was near. The people had accepted her choice. Some still had questions, but most saw her courage and followed her example. The ceremony took place on the highest tower of the city. People from both worlds came. Lari songstones played music across the sky. Human ships flew overhead in a show of peace. Adam and Lyra stood side by side. They looked out at the crowd, then at each other. There were no speeches, no long promises, only quiet understanding. She took his hand. He did not need to say anything. The way he looked at her said it all. After the ceremony, they spent the evening under the stars. They sat near the lake, where everything had begun. Adam looked up. "Back on Earth, I used to look at the stars and wonder if someone was out there. I never thought I would find someone like you." Lyra leaned her head against his shoulder. and I never thought a voice from another world would change my life. They stayed there for a long time, not needing anything else. Weeks passed. The new space station began to rise. Humans and Alari worked side by side. Some laughed together. Some still looked at each other with questions, but the fear was fading. Adam worked closely with both sides. He helped guide talks, solve problems, and kept the peace strong. He also made time for Lyra. Even with her new duties, she always found moments to be with him. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Lyra stood on the balcony of the palace. Adam joined her. She looked out at the horizon. "Do you think our worlds will stay together?" she asked. "I don't know," he said, "but I believe they will try. Because of what we started," she turned to him, "and what we continue." He took her hand. "As long as we walk together, I believe anything's possible." That night, the stars shone brighter than before. Two hearts from two worlds had found each other. They had broken old rules, faced danger, and stood before great powers. Now, they walked forward not as strangers, not as symbols, but as partners. The journey was not over. In truth, it was only the beginning. And far above them, across the black sky, the stars watched in silence as two worlds became one step closer than ever before.